All right, solving chord functions. This is the problem most people have when they start getting into jazz and other things like that, is they see a progression, they see a group of chords, and they don't know where to start. You know it's not diatonic harmony. You say, yeah, okay, I could pick a scale for each one, but I don't exactly know which one. I could just play pentatonics and arpeggios through this. I don't really know. So what are my options? How do I address it? Where do I begin? What's the starting place? Well, here's what you do. First thing you do is look for dominant chords. These are your keys. And right away, you want to see, okay, are they functioning? Are they non-functioning? Are they static? Right? Now, if they're functioning, are they primary dominants? Do they resolve to the tonic? If so, that's your key, at least for that section. If not, are they secondary dominants? What are they resolving to? And what are those chord tones? What's in there? So again, look for your dominant seventh chords. Figure out whether they're functioning, non-functioning, or static. The next thing you want to do is look for modal interchange. All right? So if you have a chord, whether a dominant chord goes to it or doesn't, but it's not diatonic, look for modal interchange. Does it come from a parallel mode? If it does, then you can play that parallel mode over that chord, in addition to the specific chord tones, the arpeggio or that pentatonic or whatever else you have figured out from a key-centered approach. And then lastly, if nothing else fits in from a key-centered approach, then you pick out chord scales for the chords that don't exactly match up. If the chord has alterations, they don't come from any parallel modes, they're not dominant seventh chords where they imply a specific tonality. If they're their own entity, then you create a scale that exaggerates that specific entity. That's the main thing. Now, one last thing that we haven't spoken about, which I talked about before that we were going to talk about. Tritone substitution. Tritone substitution. Now, we all know the tritone is the flat 5. That's what needs resolution when we talk about from dominant seventh chord to a major chord. Just whenever you go from a 5 to 1, you have to resolve that tritone interval, that change, right? So what is tritone substitution? Well, it's very simple. If we take a G7 chord, we look at our tritone right here. This is our flat 7 and our 3. That's what makes that dominant sound, because that's what requires resolution. Not so much this root, and certainly not so much this fifth. It is that tritone that demands resolution. But what if we played a C sharp 7 chord, right? Our root has changed, but we still have this tritone feeling right here. Now this is your major third, and this is your flat 7. So literally, you could be going through a piece, and it could say, D minor 7, C sharp 7, C, like that. And you could say to yourself, all right, well, I don't know what in the world to do over that C sharp 7, right? Because I have a D minor. The whole rest of the song has been in the key of C. There is certainly not a flat 2 or a flat 9 in the key of C. And all of a sudden I have a dominant chord over it, and then I have C. Well, this C sharp, the tritone, the 3rd and the 7th, is the same of G7, your 5 chord. Your 5 chord. So this really sounds like a 2, 5, 1. You can kind of hear it. It works. Sounds like a 2-5-1 because it resolves the same way. So when you're soloing over that, like I said before, you can play Lydian dominant from that. You can play an altered scale from that. You could play G mixolydian from that. You could play the G blues because you get that flat 5 in there, because that's what essentially that C sharp is in G. It'll be D flat, C sharp. So what I want you to do for this lesson is I want you to post a video where you make up a progression. I want you to spend some time and make up a cool progression. Don't make up the progression thinking about a certain key center approach, or I'm going to make up something that goes to a 1 and then a 6 something or something else. I want you to just use your ears and figure out some really cool sounds. Then post a video, and I want you to explain what the different changes are, how you read it, and then explain to everybody else watching what scales you're going to play over each chord and why. And then do it. Improvise over that jam track that you made, that loop, playing those specific changes that you told us about. I am extremely excited to see what you come up with. There's only one more lesson in this level. It's our last improvising level. Let's really finish strong. Good luck.